when I was just trying to make some money.
Yeah, see me yet? Hey.
So all my people
All right.
struggle, you know what I'm saying?
It's all good, baby, baby.
It was all a
So,
dream. I
said I was going to come on live again tonight. And I'm trying to be a woman of my word, right?
Every Saturday, rapper Cat Mr. Magic Rolling Ball. I let my kid.
All right, now I'm having a little party, right? So anyway, join me. Join me. For those of you who don't know, my name is Gipson-Willis. I am a licensed therapist. I'm a therapeutic life coach, and I'm a woman on a mission. I'm a woman on a mission to do what it is that she said she was going to do. And more importantly, I'm a woman on a mission to do what it is that God has called me to do. And so with that, that also included coming on live and talking to the people on tonight. And sometimes when you're talking to the people, you're just talking to one people. And if you're coming on, say, hey, let me know who you are. I can't see anything because I'm streaming from StreamYard in case you can see because they put their banner up there. But I want to make sure that I'm doing what it is that I'm supposed to do out of obedience. And so I'm showing up. And what I found was last night I showed up reluctantly. Okay, I see some people coming. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Kiana. If you're coming in, tell me your name and who you are, where you're from. But anyway, so I'm trying to be more of a woman of my word. If you were here last night, you understand what I mean by that. And so I said that I was going to come on live and make sure that I do hold up my end of the bargain. And here's what happened. Last night I went live reluctantly, so right, because in case you missed it yesterday, let me update you and bring you up to speeds, right? So I spoke about obedience, and I'm not just talking about obedience like doing what man says. I'm talking about biblical obedience. I'm talking about that 1 Samuel 15:22 type of obedience, like obedience is better than sacrifice type of obedience, and how I had unwittingly wiggled my way out of being obedient when I thought I was being obedient. And so what had happened was I had to I got checked, right? God checked me real quick. And when I say God checked me real quick, I mean it was like a painful check, like yeah, you ain't doing what I told you to do, so you might want to do what I told you to do. And so I showed up. Yes, last night I showed up. If you didn't see that live, hop on in, scroll a little bit, watch it, because I talk about obedience. I talk about obedience and I talk about disobedience. And I talk about how there are so many more of us who are being passively obedient, which is equaling to active disobedience, right? We're being actively disobedient, thinking that we're doing what we're supposed to do. We have really good reasons for not doing what it is that God called us to do. Well, tonight I'm going to talk about the dream. I can't remember what I titled this. Somebody wants to help me out, let me know. But I titled it something about dreams, and I really want to talk about dreams today because it's real cute to be very much in this realm of MLK. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, his famous "I had a dream" speech, and people quote that quite a bit. And what I'm finding really interesting, even on the Facebook and different things, is, hey Jason, yes, ouch, right, ouch. Facebook, we on January, the middle of January, we all get this romanticized view and this sanitized version of MLK, right? Where people are just like, he was nonviolent, he was all of these things, and then when you really check the stats, right? When you really check it out, you find that most of the people back then did not like. They hated. He was public enemy number one, MLK Jr. So it's just really interesting how we sanitize kind of history in different ways, because once it was revealed that MLK, the changes that he fought for benefited everyone, then it was time to jump on the bandwagon of, oh yeah, he was a great American, he was a great patriot and all of that. But what I want to speak to specifically is dreams. I want to speak specifically to dreams. And going off of the I had a dream, right? MLK's most famous speech was I had a dream. I have a dream. And that has, there's a story behind that most people don't know, right? There's a story behind the I have a dream speech that most people don't know that really speaks to the power of not only having a dream, right? You have to have a vision, not only having a plan, right? Because he had a plan. But what moved the people was him sharing the dream. What moved the people was the vision of the future. And so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have my vision board back there. I did my vision board this year. You see, I called it Round Vision. But we have to have a vision for our future, and the vision is what inspires us, right? So MLK, the day that he did that speech, right? The day he did that speech, he was prepared to do a whole other speech. Did y'all know that? If you knew that, tell me. If you knew that, he was prepared to do a whole other speech. He had a speech that was written down, and he was talking about the plan. This is my plan for the people. We're going to do this. And what he found was that plan wasn't moving the people. There was like 250,000 people in attendance that day. 250,000. There's like thousands of people. And he's doing he's reading the speech, right? He's reading the speech. And what he found was that the people weren't really feeling it, right? It was a good speech, but it wasn't moving the people. And what had happened was he hears this voice on the side of him yelling, "Tell him about the dream, Martin," right? Because Martin Luther King Jr. had spoken about the dream before. He had mostly spoken, I believe, in church. Don't quote me there, but he had spoken about the dream. I have a dream, this vision that he had for the future, for his children, for his family, for this country. I have a dream. And so when he heard her say that, right, he ignored her and he went back to his plan. He went back to his plan and talking about the plan of how to execute and the steps that were needed to get to the dream. But this voice, which belonged to the late great Mahalia Jackson, repeats again. "Tell him about the dream, Martin." He ignored her again and went back to his notes, because sometimes when we have a plan, we have these tasks and lists of how we're going to get there, but we haven't shared the vision with the people. We haven't shared the dream. Sometimes we can lose the people. So by the third time she yelled, "Tell him about the dream, Martin," he put his notes away. And when he put his notes away, he started talking about the dream. And when he talked about the dream, he talked about it in a way that he created a visual image for the people to follow. He created a picture of the dream. They could see what it was that he was talking about. As he speaks about being on mountaintops, as he speaks about children holding hands, and he speaks about these things, people could see the dream. So we could talk about MLK's dream all day, because we know that a lot of us have benefited from that. Right? We've benefited from the dream. But I'm here on a more personal level. I'm going to hear on a more personal level. Tell me about your dream. I want to hear about your dream. I want to hear about your dream, because here's the thing. Whether you know it or not, you have a dream. You might have forgotten the dream. But you have a dream. You have a dream. There's something that you've allowed the plans and the goals and the tasks to steer you away from the picture of. So yesterday when I was talking, I talked about the sermon, one of the sermons that I watched. I watched 4 sermons yesterday. And one of them was Michael Todd's Anchored. And what he talked about was the vision, right? And on my vision board, I have Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain. You have to write the vision and make it plain. You also have to be able to visualize and understand what that thing is. So I'm wondering, what's the dream? What's the dream for your life that you've allowed yourself to get off the hook for? That's the $1 million question. What's the dream in your life that you've allowed yourself to get off the hook for? Because what I found is I do a lot of I do leadership coaching. I do a lot of trainings at corporations. And what I find is that a lot of companies and a lot of places that I go to, and a lot of people that I meet in these groups, basically what's happening is I'm stumbling upon a graveyard for dreams. Oftentimes it's a graveyard for dreams. Oftentimes we trade in our dreams for what's most convenient, for what's easiest, for what feels more secure, right? We trade in our dreams. And so I'm not saying that to say that you can't work a 9 to 5, but I'm asking you, what is the dream? What is that thing that used to keep you up? The vision that you have for your life. What is the vision that you have for your life that's so powerful that if you fed it, it would feed you? If you fed it, it would feed you. Because see, what happens is we come here with the dream, and the dream is attached to our vision. The dream is attached to our vision, and our vision is attached to what it is that we're meant to do with our purpose. I talked about purpose a lot last night, and what you'll find is I'm going to talk about purpose a lot. I'm going to talk about purpose a lot because what I believe is that a lot of us have let ourselves off the hook for what our purpose is, but we've lived a life that was just basically good enough. I've done enough to get by. I've done enough to get by. But what we haven't done is we haven't done the work of purpose. We haven't done what we were purposed to do and how we were positioned to do it, because we've allowed ourselves to get disconnected from the dream, from the vision of what it is that our lives is supposed to be. A lot of us are intimidated by that vision. A lot of us are afraid of it. I don't know if you can see on my board. You see right there? Wait. Right there. You see right there? That's a picture of Oprah with an audience. And I'm not saying I'm Oprah. I'm not saying I want to be Oprah. But I have seen visions of myself speaking in front of crowds of thousands of people. Not hundreds. I've done hundreds, but thousands of people. Hey, Charles, how you doing? Thousands of people. That's a vision. I didn't give it to myself because, quite frankly, it scares crap out of me. The thought of it intimidates me so. The thought of it intimidates me so that I almost let myself off the hook for it, even remembering it. So I did a vision board party. How many of you have done vision board parties this year or a vision board this year? If you've done a vision board this year, let me know. Let me know. Put in the comments if you've done a vision board this year. And a vision board, what a vision board will do, it will force you, if you do it right, it will force you to think about the best version of yourself and really tap into not only who you are right now, but who it is that you're meant to be, right? Who it is that you're meant to be. What are the goals for your life? And so as I was doing that, I almost didn't put it on my board because it was, who puts on their board Oprah that they want to be an Oprah-like figure? Who wants to speak before thousands of people? Most people have a fear of speaking. They don't want to do that. But somehow that's been put in me many, many years ago. And then things I keep kind of stumbling along the way. I keep kind of stumbling along the way towards that thing in these small micro steps that get you to that end result. But what's happened for a lot of us is we believe that our dreams and our goals and our visions have to be this monumental Oprah, MLK type thing, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. But the thing that you have to do is you have to respect the dream. You have to respect the dream. You have to respect the dreamer. You have to respect the place that you got the dream from. The vision. What is the vision for your life? And are you living in a way that allows you to get closer to it? Are you living in a way, in such a way that allows you to get closer to it? Or have you let yourself off the hook? Have you let yourself off the hook because you're afraid to dream that big? Have you let yourself off the hook because it doesn't even seem like it's possible for you right now? Have you let yourself off the hook because you don't even know, you have no idea how that could even happen? Have you let yourself off the hook for the vision for your life? So here's the thing I know. Here's the thing I know, that oftentimes we can get stuck in these places of paralysis because we're trying to figure out all the pieces. We get stuck in the place of reading the details of the plan and get overwhelmed by the plan, that we disconnect from the vision. We disconnect from the dream, the thing that inspires, the thing that motivates, the thing that keeps us focused on what it is that we are to do. And so I'm wondering where you're at. I'm wondering where you're at in your dream, right? Because this is 2021. And as I said last night, look, if you were blessed enough to make it to this year, We got to act like that means something. We got to act like that means something. You can no longer keep snoozing the dream. You can't keep snoozing. You can't keep saying, you know what, maybe I'll do it next year. You can't keep saying, well, you know what, that's for somebody else. You can't keep saying these things that aren't true as it relates to the dream for your life. And what is it? What is it that gets in the way of your dream? What is it that gets in the way of your dream? So I've talked about this before, but I feel compelled to talk about it now. I feel compelled to talk about it now because there are things that you have to do to protect your dream. And part of that is you have to be intentional about who you place your dream around, who you allow in the space of your dream. You have to be intentional about that. There are dream killers and there are dream pushers. Now, if you know me, you know, hey, y'all, it's your girl, Rhonda Gipson-Willis, your favorite dream pusher. I pride myself on being a dream pusher. It comes naturally to me. It's part of my gift, right? It's part of my gift of, okay, well, that's the thing you want to do. What you going to do to make it happen? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I see the vision with you. I see the dream. I buy into it. You know, they say you need 3 types of people around you at all times. 3 types of people. You need people who encourage you, right? Those are your cheerleaders who encourage you. You need someone who's done what it is that you've done that you want to do, like a mentor. And you need people who just have your back. You need people who have your back. But what's happening is far too many of us allow our dreams to sit too long around dream killers. People who don't understand the vision. People who you have to spend more time explaining that thing to. People who are looking for the plan as opposed to the vision. As you look at your circle, I want you to ask yourself, who are your dream killers? And who are your dream pushers? Because see, those dream pushers are the ones that are going to get behind you and say, let's do it. No, that's not too big for you. If that's the vision, if that's the dream that God is giving you, and you do what it is you're supposed to do, how can you lose? How are you protecting the vision for your life? What's that thing that scares the bejeebus out of you? Scares you to no end? Feel free to go ahead and post it. Feel free to post it. I can't see your comments on this one. Maybe I can see it. Nope, I can't see it. I can see your comments, but feel free to post them. What is it? What is the dream, the vision, the thing that you see, right? So for me to say, my vision is to someday be on a stage and speak before thousands, right? Even as someone who's known to be a speaker, I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach. I've spoken before hundreds of people before. I don't get nervous speaking before people. It's not unlikely that that can happen in my lifetime, considering the trajectory that I'm on, the fact that I actually started chasing this dream 8 years ago. 8 years ago. It is not outside of the realm of possibility that that's something that could happen for me. But I want to tell you, this required a level of vulnerability to even speak it to the masses. It requires a level of vulnerability to say to other people, you know what? There's this thing, there's this vision. Because you expect for people to ask you, who are you to have such a big dream? Who are you? And then I have to ask myself, and I have to ask those of you who've asked the same questions about your dream is, why not you? Have you seen some of the people who've done some of the things that you want to do? Have you seen some of those people? Oh, who is this? I see a Facebook user who said, motivator, speaker, and mentor. Who are you? That's your goal? That's your dream? But have you seen some of the people who have the audacity to live out your dream? Have you seen them? Do you know what the difference between them and you is? Do you know what the difference is? They believed it was possible. They believed it was possible. And because they believed it was possible, they pursued it. because they believed it was possible. That's the difference. So for those of you with a dream who say this dream is too big for me, little old me, I don't deserve such a dream as this. I want you to understand that there are people who are far less qualified than you who are living your dream right now. They just had the audacity to do it. They had the audacity to believe that it was possible for them. Now, last night when I was talking, I talked about some opportunities that came my way, and internally, the first gut reaction for me, when those opportunities came my way was to say, no, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not ready. But I remember a long time ago, I decided that even if I didn't feel like I was ready, I was going to do the thing. And then what I found was I was even more prepared than I thought I was. I found myself pleasantly surprised. And that's only a result of my audacity to believe that maybe I do know more than I believe I know. Tomorrow I'm filming I'm going to be on I'm doing an interview for a TV show. It's called The Entrepreneur's Playbook. I'm doing an interview. And there are things, they sent me this big list of questions. And I looked at the list, and at first I was overwhelmed by the list of questions. And then I started looking at the questions, and I went, I know the answers to every single one of these questions. I can answer every single one of these questions confidently. The only reason I can answer all of those questions confidently is because I did the work before. Because I've done it. I built up to it. I believed in a dream. I pursued it. But what I find, even as I come on, I do Facebook Lives, and I tell you, I do Facebook Lives, and people hit me up in my inbox all the time, and they share that they wish that they could do the things that I do. And I'm like, honey, ain't nothing special about me. There is nothing special about me, other than the fact that I'm audacious enough to believe that maybe if I do the thing that I'm supposed to do, something's going to turn out. So when I talk about vulnerability, right, because I talk about the level of vulnerability that it takes to share your dream, even in a supportive audience, right? Even in a supportive audience, because we did vision boards, and then we presented our vision boards. And there was just something about presenting your vision board that took it to a whole nother level, right? Sharing the vision with other people requires a level of vulnerability, a level of transparency that a lot of us aren't ready to ascribe to, because this world has taught us that it can turn on us real quick. It can turn on you real quick. And so, we have this cancel culture, which some folks need to be canceled because their behavior is egregious. But we also have the concern that if I share too much, you will have something to use against me. If I share too much, but here's the thing that I know is what I don't share that you have to use against me. Is what I don't share, right? So I don't want to tiptoe around my vision. I don't want to tiptoe around my dream. I don't want to tiptoe around my goals. I don't want to tiptoe around my purpose because I'm afraid of how man might respond to it. Because at the end of the day, the vision for my life is not man-made. And because the vision for my life is not man-made, I can't really allow man to be the one to determine whether or not I pursue it. But how many of us do? How many of us do? How many of us allow the opinions of others to decide whether our dream lives or dies? How many? In the line of work that I do as a coach, I can tell you a lot. I can tell you most of the barriers and most of the things that prevent us from going further and doing what it is that we are called to do has more to do with the opinion of man than the position of God and what it is that he told you to do. Are you doing what he told you to do? Oftentimes what he told you to do is tied to that vision. It's tied to that dream. See, I know enough to know that When I'm at the place, right? Because it's going to happen, or I'm speaking before these thousands of people, that is not about me. It's not about me. It's absolutely not about me. So last night, if you saw the video last night, you already knew. I did it begrudgingly. I didn't really want to do it. I'm trying to be a cheerful giver of my gift, right? I didn't really want to do it. It was late, like where most of you are at right now is late. I'm not there, so it's earlier. Um, but I didn't want to do it. It was a matter of obedience. And when I tell you that my inbox afterwards lit up, lit up with people saying things like, "Yo, I hear you. Yo, that's me too. Yo, there's this thing God told me not to do. There's a thing God told me to do." And right now, your voice was further confirmation that I need to do that thing. I'm going to do it. And I'll let you know when I did it. I did it. Because I showed up last night. Because I showed up. Because I recognize that the dream that I have, the vision that I have for my life, it didn't come from me. But in order for us to reach that vision, to reach that dream, we have to be obedient. We have to be obedient. That sometimes means we have to do things that stretch us. We have to do things that don't feel comfortable. We have to do things that don't feel safe. We sometimes have to put ourselves out there. We have to talk to the people. There's graveyards of dreams. You know that movie, The Field of Dreams? Any of you ever seen that movie, Field of Dreams? I've not seen most of it. I know it's a baseball movie. I know Kevin Costner or somebody was in it. I don't know a whole lot about it. But the movie Field of Dreams, like they went in and there were like all these angels playing softball or something. I'm not talking about that type of thing. I'm talking about the graveyard of dreams. I'm talking about where most dreams go to die. Where is your dream going to die? What is your dream's graveyard? Where have you let yourself off the hook for what it is that you're supposed to do? What is it your heart's still yearning for? What is it your purpose to do? That you're out there pimping your purpose. You're pimping your purpose. I did a whole training once. I think it was a master class or something, but it was called Pimping Your Purpose. Stop pimping your purpose. And people, it was a very alluring topic, right? Stop pimping your purpose. But basically, what it meant was stop playing small. Stop allowing your purpose to be mispositioned and mishandled because you're not strong enough in IDGAF. Because you're not strong enough in that. And because you're allowing yourself to pimp your purpose, to not live out the life that you were called to live out, to not live the dream. We talk about it all the time. People talk about living the dream. Living the dream. I want to live the dream. Living the dream, there's a cost to living the dream. There's a cost to it. There's a cost to it. You guys remember fame? You want fame? Well, fame costs. And right here is where you start paying in sweat. But you know what? There's a cost to dreams. And you have to pay, sometimes in blood, sweat, and tears. But it pays off. It pays off. Hey, Letitia. Dang, Letitia took me way back. That was my friend from grade school. Hey, Letitia. Dreams cost. And far too many of us are unwilling to pay the price. Imagine if Dr. King has said, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. You know what? There's this thing, like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing some more with my life. Super, super smart dude. Like, didn't he graduate from college when he was like 15 or something crazy? Super smart. What if he had said, you know what? I'm just going to go in and get me this good old engineering degree. I'm going to work at MIT. I'm going to provide for my family. But he had a dream. which seemed really audacious. I don't know about you all, but the older I get, the more I look at Dr. King. I look at Dr. King and I'm like, yo, that dude was 39. He wasn't 40 yet. Think of all the things that he accomplished in his life because he pursued the dream, a dream that outlived him. The dream that outlived him. Your dream is meant to outlive you. But far too many of us have allowed our dreams to die in a dream graveyard. And recognize that it's not just about you, because the dream, i.e. the vision for your life, like the vision for Dr. King's life, was not about him. It was about the millions and billions of other people who benefited because he said, this vision that I have, this dream that I have for my life, I'm going to pursue it fearlessly. I'm going to pursue it. In spite of what the people say, I'm going to pursue it. Hey, Tish, she said, glad to see you living your dream. Yeah. And so here's the thing I want you to know, and we know this from Dr. King's life. Living the dream is not dreaming all the time. Living the dream requires sacrifice. Living the dream requires that we be willing to stretch into a different version of ourselves. Living the dream requires that we realize that the smallest of things, the things that we think are really small things, are really large things in the grand scheme of things. You don't know how that one thing that you might say might propel someone else's life. I saw a comment today on one of my videos, and I have to go back to it. But there was a comment, someone said something, they said, God talks to me through you. She was talking about me. God talks to me through you. Now I recognize that God talks to me through a lot of people as well, right? Like I'm like, yo, like where'd that come from? That was for me. That was for me. And so part of realizing that and recognizing that says, even when the dream feels like, dare I say, a burden, I still need to show up. I still need to show up and allow myself to be used as a vessel and not be attached. See, last night I talked about not being attached to the outcome, not being attached to what somebody gets from this, whether somebody thinks it's weird that I'm going live this late or think it's, somebody once told me that, they don't understand why I went live so much. Someone really close to me, they couldn't understand why I went live so much. Somebody close to me once said to me that the people that they know, they talked about me and said that I look crazy on my lives. Remember when I said about dream killers and dream pushers? So I was like, oh no, you got to go. You got to go. But here's what I've always been sure of. Even the times I've come on live and looked a hot mess, even the times I've come on live and I've looked crazy, what I recognized was it was never about me. It was not about me. It was about how God was going to use me in that moment, how God was going to use my life. And if we are the people that we profess to be, see, here's the thing, and I'm about to step on some toes. I do believe I'm about to step on some toes. And if I step on your toes, you can say ouch or you can say amen. It doesn't matter to me because I'm just a messenger. So there are a lot of us who profess to have a level of faith that when the rubber meets the road, we realize we ain't got it. You ain't got you ain't got the, if you had the faith you say you have, if you had the faith you said you have, you stop hiding behind the security of that thing that you chose to do because it was comfortable. If you had the faith you said you had, you would be obedient. And I'm not just talking to you. Listen, I'm talking to me too. And there are times that I've thought that I've been or exhibited more faith than I have, right? Faith is one of my spiritual gifts. I'm like, yo, I believe all things are going to happen the way they're supposed to. I'm a Romans 8:28 type of gal. All things work for the good of those who love the Lord and called her according to his plan. Like I'm following the plan, I'm following the purpose, I'm doing the things. I believe all things work for my good. But what I found out is that I didn't have as much faith as I thought I did when the rubber met the road. And see, here's the problem. Too many of you are not getting in situations where you're allowing the rubber to even meet the road, or you're allowing yourself to really check yourself in terms of how you fake this thing out. You're faking faith. You're faking faith. You're faking it. Faith says, regardless of how this turns out, I'm going to do it. That's what faith says. Faith says I don't have to rely upon the facts. Faith says that one day, regardless of how, I have no idea how I'll get there, I'm going to get there. But it requires that I got to put some boots on the ground to this faith. I got to put feet to my faith. I can't just say, I'm going to do this thing. So who's my girl? Fannie Lou Hamer. She said, you could pray till you blue in the face, but you got to do some things. I'm paraphrasing y'all. Basically, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. And I'm going to ask you, have you done anything to force your faith? Ooh, that sounds like a title of a book right there. Force your faith. What situations force your faith? Or have you created these artificial environments for your faith to thrive? That was for somebody. I don't know who that's for. But you're creating artificial environments for your faith to thrive. This controlled environment. This controlled environment. So I read a post today, and there's this guy, and he's a really popular blogger. And he talked about going on a retreat. He took himself to a hotel, fasted and prayed, and he said, on his last day, he said, God, I turn my whole life over to you. I trust you, Lord. I turn my whole life over to you. And he said the next day he got a message that changed everything. And it saddened him. He was sad because I imagine that it means that there were some big changes that included losing people, maybe places, maybe things. But in the end, he said he believed and he trusted God. See, that's faith outside of an artificial environment. That's faith outside of an artificial environment, because too many of you have this contained faith, this safe faith, this faith in a bottle, this, if I could just keep it contained right here and I never have to prove it to myself or to anybody else, I could still go on and raise the banner of, oh yeah, I'm a woman of faith. I'm a woman of faith. How much of a woman or a man of faith are you when things aren't going the way that you want them to? How much of a woman or man of faith are you when you lose people, places, and things? How much of a woman of faith are you when you don't get what you want? Or have you invested all of your energy in maintaining this controlled environment? Right? Maintaining this controlled environment. I can feel good about that. I can feel real good about that. I'm here to tell you that this is not the season for that. This is not. 2021 said, 2020 is not done. I've seen these memes that say this is basically like December 47th, 2020. Because see, YPJ, he did a sermon a couple weeks back, and he said, it's not even about the year. Because I talk about this all the time. There's nothing magical happened December 31st, 2020 at 11:59 or 12:01, January 1. Nothing changed. And nothing will change in your life unless you change it. Unless you change it. Unless you change it. So on my board somewhere over there, Right over there, I wrote the words fiery faith. I wrote the word fiery faith, and that came from Daniel, excuse me, Daniel 3:18. Daniel 3:18. So y'all remember when the triplets, I call them, they're not the triplets. It was Meshach, Shadrach, and a big Negro. That wasn't his name, but you know who I'm talking about, right? When they were tossed into the furnace, right? They were taken into the furnace, and they had a chance. They had a way to opt out. They could have said, you know what, King, you know what, you're right. We're gonna follow your guy. We're gonna do whatever it is you say to do. But you know what they said? They said, no, 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 sir. My guy said no, and because my guy said no, you know what? Put me in the furnace. God's gonna save us. But if he doesn't, there was something that he says, but even if he doesn't, right? Then let's hop on over to Romans 8:28. All things work for the good. Even if he doesn't, what kind of faith do you have? So on my board, I got fiery faith. I got fiery faith. I got that faith where it's a vision, right? It's a goal of mine to have that faith that's faith without question. Faith that says, you know what, God, okay, if this is where you're sending me, if this is where you're sending me, even if it looks like this ain't gonna work out. Now, for those of you who know the tale, you know. For those of you who don't, let me tell you what happened. So they threw them in this fiery furnace, and the furnace, it wasn't just any old kind of furnace. Like this is where they would kill the people, but they wanted to make sure they killed them real good. So they heated up 7 times more than they normally do. I believe it was 7 times, could have been six, I don't know, plus or minus three. They heated up the furnace, right? To the point that the king's guys that he sent in to take them in there, before they even got there, they perished. They burnt up. They burnt up. But Shadrach, Meshach, and a big Negro, they were in there walking around. Walking around. That's a fiery faith right there. Fiery faith. I want faith without question. That's the faith that I aspire to. That's the faith that gets your dreams and your visions off the ground. That's the faith, that's the type of faith that propelled MLK to do what he did, even when he knew that his life could be ended. Because what he understood was his life wasn't his own to begin with. And that's a whole nother conversation y'all don't really want to have. That's a whole different conversation y'all don't want to have. Because see, that's what I got. That's what I got called out. At the end of the day, my life is not my own. So as a dream, as a vision, that vision that's been put in my heart, the gifts and the talents that I've been given, the favor that's on my life is not for me. So if in the pursuit of it, my life doesn't last as long as I believe it should, that's not really my business. Because I'm here on assignment. I know I lost a couple of you right now. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do for your dream? What are you willing to do? Can I encourage some of you to just start, to go back, dig it up out the graveyard, revisit it, dust that bad boy off, envision it, allow yourself to see it, allow yourself to feel it, allow yourself to walk in it. Can I encourage you to start there? And as you do that, recognize that you have to have people around you who are proficient in supporting dreams, dream pushers, if you will. Dream pushers, dream pushers. Now, I have a variety of dream pushers, right? I have a coach who's a dream pusher, and she's like a drill sergeant dream pusher. I have friends who are dream pushers. I have my daughters who are dream pushers. who say, "Mommy, we see you." I remember it was so my daughter who'll be 25 this year. When I started full-time entrepreneurship, she was 17. And I remember that first year and I said, yo, things are gonna look a little different because I don't have that same old predictable check that I used to have. And we're gonna have to scale some things back. And she said, it's okay because imagine how this is gonna look in 10 years. She didn't say next year. She didn't say 6 months from now, right? Because so many of us are short-sighted. I was just having this conversation. You watch enough TikTok videos, you will believe that you can go on TikTok one day and shut down working and start a TikTok, some sort of something, and then you're a millionaire by the end of the quarter. It don't work like that. My kid had the foresight to say, 10 years, 10 years from now, dream pushers. Make sure you have people who can attach realistic timelines to your dreams and your goals. Because it's real easy to buy into the hype and abandon your dream because it hasn't come to fruition in the time you think it should. Ask me how many times I want to jump ship. Ask me how many times I want to be done with what it is that I'm doing, how it is that I'm doing. Ask me. Ask me. A lot. A lot. A lot. A lot. And then I have to remember that it's not about me. It's not about me. And it's not been the easiest thing. I'm not gonna lie and say it's been the easiest thing. No, it's not been the easiest thing. But it's been hella impactful. It's been really impactful. And sometimes I forget how impactful it's been because to me it's as simple as I come in and I do a video, which honestly, I'm just like, I do a lot of these videos like this one. I'm like, I should really stop because this isn't even a good video. I'll be self-judging as I'm talking. I'm like, Rhonda, you're not even on tonight. You're not even on tonight. You're not on tonight. And so if this was regular Rhonda, right? If this was about me, I'd be like, you know what? You're not on, so we're gonna turn this bad boy off. But what I recognize and what I have enough receipts to realize is there have been times that I've thought that I've done pitiful jobs. I've thought that I've not had good videos. I've not had anything to say. And somebody hit me in my inbox. Somebody had hit me in a text message. Somebody had hit me up in these different ways. And then I remember, it's not about you. I don't need to talk about dreams. I'm out here trying to live my dream. But somebody out here needs to hear this. And it may take the 12 people who were on here to get to the one. And so that's why I show up. That's why I pursue even when it doesn't feel like or it doesn't look like. Does that make sense? I can't see any comments, y'all. So if you comment, just know I'll come back later and address those. But yeah, so that's all I want. All I want to say. All I want to say is I don't know what time it is. Oh, it's late. It's late. Tomorrow I'll try to hop on earlier. How about that? I'll hop on earlier. Don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but I'm sure it'll be for somebody because I'm in a season of obedience, and because I'm being obedient, it's not about me, and somebody's gonna get it. So I'll be back tomorrow, probably closer to the daytime. Oh no, I have an interview tomorrow. I don't know when I'll be back, but anyway, I'll be back. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Those of you who did. Those of you who came on the replay, appreciate you. See ya. I pray someone was able to get something from this that has an impact, moves them an inch, even an inch further, right? Because I'm all about the inch further. We can get an inch. We ain't got to be out there trying to take these super strides. We could be moving a few inches at a time and be okay with that. Let's be okay with that. Let's be okay with that. But what we don't want to do is stand still. We don't want to stand still. We don't want to move backwards. So, yeah. With that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. And sweet dreams. All right, yeah.